So for several years now, the largest police departments in our area have had issues with getting people to apply. At the same time, officers have been leaving. This is a national issue as well, but let's stay local. This year, the Minneapolis Police Department got about 1,125 candidates, and that's because the city says they've been recruiting really hard, and they approved a pay increase as well. But that isn't completely translating to happy police chiefs in Minneapolis or surrounding areas, who are saying that the problem isn't really a lack of candidates, but a lack of qualified candidates and a system they feel isn't keeping up. Ian Russell took a look. Hi, Ian.
When Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara and I spoke Tuesday,
the problem is it's not good enough.
It was easy to hear the frustration in his tone.
And that's very concerning. It's something that we're looking into to identify what the problem is.
Applications to his department are up nearly 80% compared to the same time last year. Over 1,100 applicants so far this year. 60 of them have been hired.
It does not translate to the same percent increase of people that then wind up being hired, or even that one wind up being investigated for us. So it's a serious concern.
While 60 may seem small, O'Hara says it's still one of the largest hiring classes they've seen in nearly a decade. For a department that's already understaffed by nearly 40%, O'Hara says they need roughly 100 new hires a year to continue growing their staff. The problem is the amount of qualified candidates doesn't seem to be meeting demand. And across the river, it's a similar issue in St. Paul.
Yep, we are understaffed by about 12%. We struggle, like all law enforcement agencies, to fill those empty spots.
St. Paul Assistant Chief of Police Paul Ford says he's seen classes fluctuate over his time in law enforcement.
Right now our academies are running about 14 folks. When I got hired, my academy was 40.
The issue of law enforcement hiring isn't unique to Minneapolis or St. Paul. Ford says it's everywhere right now.
We're all kind of competing for the same candidates, which makes it more challenging.
Other agencies have worked to change how they recruit, offering incentives or pathways to make hiring easier. The Minneapolis City Auditor's Office presented a report earlier this week about MPD's recruitment strategy, comparing the department to other cities in our state, including St. Paul and Duluth. That report also compared MPD to cities like Baltimore, Austin, and Seattle. O'Hara's concerned when we spoke yesterday, his department takes too long to hire, citing that the process to vet candidates and place them into an academy can take too long. Plus, sometimes they're losing applicants to other departments. That report says Minneapolis can take about 6 months from review to the academy. Other jurisdictions listed in that report can move as quickly as 4 months. But no one is willing to sacrifice proper vetting for speed.
It's definitely not about reducing standards. It's about creating pathways and processes that are simpler and shorter and more compact to get the same type of candidates and the same result in the end. It's essentially the same system that was in place when I was hired in 1998. And I think we can do it. We just have to have the will to do it.
And of course, there are different things departments are trying to do to help recruit those applicants. O'Hara told me yesterday they need to be better about staying with candidates so they know they're still being considered. Ford from St. Paul told me today they have a pilot program, it's called Icy Poet, going on right now with 2 candidates who don't have a degree in law enforcement and instead have a degree in another field. Ford says the goal is to give those in the program law enforcement training, earning a salary and education, and then hiring them when they get out of that program. MPD also does this, and they currently have 1 person in that program, Jana.
Yeah, and that's a smart one. I know other cities have tried too, because that degree can be a hurdle if you make a choice in life that you don't have it. That you're looking at 2, 3, 4 years, and nobody wants to do that. I wanted to know, and I know you did too, about community and those community groups we have in our city that make our communities safe, that aren't just policing. How do they feel about these recruitment numbers? Well,
I checked in with Lisa Clemens of A Mother's Love. She's also a former MPD sergeant who says there has got to be more done to keep those who have an interest in this profession engaged, just like O'Hara was talking about. Clemens also told me she'd like to see more training for officers, extending that timeline so officers can work with organizations to understand their communities before they start, Jana.
Lots of interesting stuff. Ian, thank you so much.